Welcome everyone. Today we'll have a very exciting guide. Now looking behind me, I just made the recording because I realized this is actually an insane amount of farm and I want to provide you guys with even more method. So looking behind me, I was going to get 10 plus exalted bows plus 4 unique bows within 1 kill of the Exiled mages. So what I have done in this video is I have prepared a list of detailed notes of how you can min and max to get the most out of your values when going for the prophecies in the COF fortune. Because if you follow this method correctly, finding Exiled mages, any bosses or any name elites, you can be farming incredibly amount of unique items and also exalted item using my method and also our tier list of the best prophecies to be farming. I mean, in this particular short replay, I was looting so many items, I was out of inventory slot. So this is a crazy method that you can be farming so many items so fast if you do this here correctly and knowing the method. So what I want to do is, in the first part, I'll explain how to farm with COF fortune. On the second part, we'll explain the detailed selection process after doing a bit of filtering myself, what is the best one you should select for your value, and how to farm unique items and also exalted items super fast using this system. Now just as a highlight, one of my friend was able to find a 4 legendary potential unique item. And hopefully with this method, you could be finding more unique items with higher legendary potential. Now coming over to the first part of the notes, how do you farm with COF fortune? Well, the first thing is you should join COF fortune. I really recommend doing so. And then you should be killing monsters to farm amounts of favors. Usually I come over to COF fortune after stacking 20, 30 or even 50,000 favors, then I purchase them in one go. You can do this faster as well, but you don't want to be teleporting too much just in case you get errors and you get stuck in the zone. So we want to first eliminate arena and also quest dungeons. So basically what we want to do is we only want to farm the Monolith, and this is one of the best methods. So over here you can see that in my replay I have purchased it from this one over here. Yes, I have purchased from the faction vendor that is at the door. Now just as a quick tip, if you press Y on your hotkey, you can come over to the factions. And if you press again to click visit Op territory, you can then teleport onto Op territory by clicking fast travel. And this is how you get to the location. And here just to show you guys where the vendor is, you come to the vendor and then you'll be buying the lenses. You don't need any particular lenses that particularly drop a certain item, but rather you want the lenses to remove the arena events, and also you want the lenses to remove the dungeon events. And this will give the best chance of farming the Monolith. It's very important to buy those one for all of those. And once you have bought the lenses, you can come over here and also insert them into each of the telescopes. And then you're pretty much done. And then we start rerolling. Now during this time, it's quite important for you to understand what does your build need the most and what does your character need the most. For example, for my build, I'm looking for a bow. I'm looking for a bow to transition out of the two-handed weapon so I can play a bow Falconer. But if you're playing a different build and you need a particular armor or maybe a helmet to make the centerpiece of your build, like the Warlock with a special unique helmet, then you can be farming for those one with your lenses. And do you need exalted gears or do you need those for legendary crafting? It's quite important to know what you need. And once you know what you need, you come over to the target telescopes for what you need. So this particular telescope I'm at is the one that provides weapons. You can click on the side to allow this icon to always appear. It's quite important you click on the side, guys, otherwise you won't be able to see those stars on as you press Alt. But if you click on this button, they will always appear. So right now, what we're doing is we come over to the particular item type telescope and we'll be starting to roll onto the beneficial quest we're looking for. Now usually it's better to look for 1 to 2 gears. If you're just looking for 1 gears, it can be a little harder to roll. And I guess for the rotations of unique items to Excel ratio, I realized later on it's actually about 1 to 3. I had this incorrectly. So usually once we look at Excel, you're going to see that unique items reward will appear 1 out of the 3 times compared to the exalted gears. And what that means is it is more rare to get unique quest compared to the exalted quest as you roll for those. So how does the prophecy work? Is that as you roll for those prophecies, they will give you a quest. if you complete the quest, you'll be rewarded with those particular set of items. Now notice when I was inserting my telescopes, I still had one for Arena, and this is a mistake you want to avoid. You don't want to be picking anything but Monolith because of the time efficiency, and it's going to cost me 2,500 favors to buy this one. At the time I made a mistake of buying this one, and let me show you guys what happens when I bought this one. So after buying this one, the entire telescope will reset with different random quests, and this is pretty much a free reroll because you bought one. You can only buy one at a time. And at other times, if you have things that you don't need, because I only need bow and also quiver for my build, notice here I'll be rerolling, and this costs 320 favors to be rerolling. Ideally, I'm rolling for the bows, quivers, anything that is unique and also exalted. I'll always prefer to go with unique items over exalted because it's much more rare. Now I'm trying to make this a little shorter and rushing through the first part, but hopefully it's not too short and too confusing for you guys. So basically what you're doing is you're rolling for quests that you can later complete by farming the Monolith. And the easier the quest it is, the quicker you get your items. And this is why we're going to come over to the second part, how to reroll and also how to pick your quest. Because at times, even though it costs 320 favors to be rerolling, it is still more preferable to be rerolling into something you wanted over something that you don't need. Because similar to previously, let me show you guys over here, I picked one of the Arena ones, but likely I won't be doing Arena anytime soon. So I wasted 2,500 favors on this one that I won't need. While other ones, they could be some easy ones, they could be harder ones with corruption that you don't want to be picking in the early stage of the game when you're farming. So now coming over to the second part, this is how you can be finding the best quests and also prophecies to get the most out of your favors. So in order to make a summary, what I did over here is, you can see that as I rerolled each time, I try to record it, what I see and what we got. And you can see on Excel over here. So pretty much it will cost 2,500 favors, and this will require me to kill one of the bosses in the final phase of each of the Monolith. And this will give me 4 reward for 4 unique items. And sometimes this does not require a minimum corruption. Other times there will be quests that requires a minimum corruption. So right away you can see there is a cost difference, there is a number of reward difference, there's also the difference between unique items and also exalted items. Together with the corruption cost and also cost of rerolling, this can be a little overwhelming. So what I did over here is I made a short summary to explain what is the best way to pick those quests. Now right away you can see we want to pick the prophecies that we can complete easily. Now the next thing I want to notice, it is much more rare to get unique gears or the unique quest from the reward. Notice I'm getting a lot of exalted quest. So what you want to do is, if you do see more unique quest that gives you unique weapons, you want to prioritize on those over the exalted ones if they appear in the same row or same star sign. Let's say this one's unique, this one's exalted, you want to go for the unique ones. After that, what I recommend, and what I think is quite important, is for us to avoid high or any corruptions that is required with a minimum. So what does this mean? So let me show you guys this particular one over here. So here, notice I'm rerolling because I didn't get anything I wanted. And this time there's 2 bow icons that appears. Notice that there is one that requires no condition for me to have the minimal amount of corruption, while the other one requires 100 minimum corruption for me to complete this quest. And of course, we will pick the one that does not require corruption because it is easier to complete this one. And the rewards will be good. So it's quite important for you to pick the easy ones over the difficult ones. And notice again over here, this one requires 120 corruption. If you don't plan to be doing corruptions, this may be something you can be considered skipping. So we talk about the choices over here after this part. Now if we come over to the next tip, which allows you to farm a lot of items super fast, there will be highlighted quests sometimes with a big star sign that asks you to kill any of the boss, which is not bad, but if you're asked to kill the exalted mages or excelled mages, any of the rare monsters or named elites, those are some of the best quests to be doing. So over here, this is one of the examples. You want to be looking for quests like those or prophecies like this. This one has 2,500 required favor cards. This one will reward me with 4 unique bows by killing any of Exiled mages within any difficulty of the Monolith. This is amazing, and this is something you're looking for. And this is one of the ways for you to farm so many unique items and also Exiled items by finding those particular prophecies. So if I come back over here, the top ones you're looking for is going to be Exiled mages, rare, and also name elites. Followed by that, killing any boss is quite good. Now onto the next topic, which is the better value. So notice that sometimes the quest will require you a certain amount of favor compared to the reward that is available. And here I have a lot of those listed. So just as a summary, if you get multiple of the unique of the same type, usually it's 4 unique reward for 2,500 favors, while 2 unique reward for 1,400. So right away, you can see the 4 times unique reward is better value. Now this is quite the opposite with Exalted items. With 4 of those reward, it costs 1,750. With 7 of those, it costs 3,250. So it's actually better value to go for the 7 stack over here, just as a comparison for those two. Now finally, it is possible that we are looking to farm a certain timeline. So what does this mean? So if we come over to my character over here, notice that I am currently missing prophecies from those 2 timelines. So I want to farm the Stolen Lens and also farm the ending of the storms, just because I can be doing my timelines, getting my blessing at the same time as I farm those. But notice that some of those prophecies are the Black Sun timeline, and some of those prophecies is the Stolen Lens timeline. So if I keep in mind which of the timelines I'm looking for can be additional factors in deciding which of the prophecies to pick. But of course, I recommend you follow those methods first, then deciding the timelines. Because eventually you'll be doing those timelines anyways as you farm for higher grade blessings. Now, one of the interesting factors I want to be talking about, and I'll be working on with my friend Halfmind to min and max for you guys. So it's better to reroll into a prophecy that is easier to do versus picking a prophecy that is bad or hard to finish. What do I mean by that? So some easy prophecies are like this one. Killing Exiled mages give you tons of reward and it's very quick. And killing any of the boss is great. Well, some of the difficult ones are like this one. You have to kill a boss with 160 corruptions, and this has a fixed timeline. So what I mean by that is, I would recommend us picking easier to complete prophecies over the ones with high corruption or with things that you don't usually do, like timelines you just don't need. Or with corruptions like 160, 150, that will be too high for farming in the early mid-game. And finally guys, if you're planning to farm a lot of items using prophecies right when you purchase those, make sure you have enough inventory space. So you can see in this replay I was trying to loot them and they were way too much in the point I have to throw items out. Especially with big chunky items like bows or two-handed weapons, you need a big inventory, and this can be a little troublesome going back and forth, so make sure you have your inventory ready when you're farming those mages and farming those monsters for tons of loot this way. Now hopefully I made this guide concise and also easy to understand enough with enough information. Now this will be a work in progress update with me and my friend to provide you guys with better information and also more concise information. So stay tuned and also subscribe for more guides for Last Epoch. Quite excited to min and max those and also getting tons of good items. And if you're looking for those notes guys, I will have those available in the links and also have the Excel available for you guys to have a look at yourself as well.